Hi, these comments are for TP. I am Michael from OTC, OnlineTOEFLCourse.com. Now, you and about 15 other students right now, I have never seen such a harder working cohort of students in my TOEFL Writing Bootcamp course, I think, ever. I've been teaching online now since about 2010, right? I'm not kidding you. You guys are really working hard. And you're doing, it looks like, integrated writing practice today, right? So I have your essay here. I think I'm comfortable putting you at about 24 points out of 30, 3.75 out of 5, right? So if you look over at the rubrics here, I think that the ETS's scoring engine, they're going to have some trouble with some of your sentence structure, maybe, I think, right? So I think you have a few grammatical errors and things in there, some problems with verb tense shifts, and so on that you can clean up. Okay, let's take a look. So according to the professor, it is arguably true that the collection of fossils by private collectors have some drawbacks, but these are shown to be more than they are. In her eyes, the benefits clearly outweigh the advantages brought about by these private collectors. Okay, let's be clear what we're talking about here, right? So reading passage, this is a problem. I'm not sure here where what information is coming from the reading. Is it the professor? And then what information here is coming from the reading passage? Okay, notice how he said it is true they have some. Let's keep our verb tenses consistent. So it is stated in the reading passage that normal people will have, believe it or not, you want to say fewer opportunities. Don't worry about spelling. They will not count off for that. To see fossils if you want to put if they are collected by private people. You're having some problems with passive voice there. Now, once you put thus as time passes, their interest to fossils will become eroded. You need a semicolon here because you have another independent clause. Then thus as time passes, their interest to fossils will become eroded. The professor contradicts this by mentioning that in fact these private collectors give normal people the chance to buy them. And if fossils are bought by public institutions, like schools, people can go and see them anytime they want. Second, the passage suggests you want to keep things consistent, even though Michael and I did a different paragraph. But no, it's good to use what you do in the first paragraph here. We say it is true they have some. These are shown. They outweigh. These benefits clearly outweigh the disadvantages. So you're the one who chose the present tense here in the beginning of your essay, and you want to be consistent with that. The professor suggests scientists have no chance of observing or performing experiments on fossils once private collectors get them. I don't think you need a comma there. If you put the adverb clause in the beginning of the sentence, then you're separating the dependent clause from the independent clause, and using a comma in that case is exactly what you would want to do. The professor, however, you can't use a semicolon on one side and a comma on the other, right? So the professor, however, points out that in order to assign a value to a particular fossil, it has to be observed and identified by scientists first. Thus, and you use that in the previous paragraph, so you want to show you have a good range of transition words. How about hence? They can do their research. They can do their research on fossils before they are given to collectors. Lastly, the professor mentions that yes, these private collectors might damage some fossils, but the fact that it is private collectors who search and discover fossils, not the universities, should not be overlooked. She mentions that it is always better to have some fossils to do research, and research is an uncount noun, even if they are damaged, than not to have fossils of extinct animals at all. It's always better to have some fossils to do research on, even if they are damaged, than to not have fossils of extinct animals at all. Now wait a minute. The professor mentions, where's the reading passage here? Okay, score's going down. I'm going to have to adjust this. So I think that last paragraph, it just isn't clear, or you just left out the information from the reading altogether. Remember that each paragraph you have the reading point 1, listening point 1, reading point 2, and then you have listening point 2. You have reading point 3 and then listening point 3. This is where you go into the abyss. It's just not clear what information here is coming from the reading passage, and you start with the professor. Is that the professor in the reading passage, or is it the professor or the speaker in the lecture? So I'm getting a little bit confused there. So that's why I'm going to give you 3.5 out of 5, 22 points out of 30. Now, if you want exactly a really easy way to organize these tasks, go over to the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. I want you to take a look at the lesson. It's called TOEFL Integrated Writing Strategies. Right? I think it's a master lesson. It's the first lesson when you get to the integrated part of the writing section of my course, and get some ideas on how you can organize your ideas so you keep everything straight, and you can do a little bit better job with your voice markers, I think. Okay, and thank you for doing this practice test.